evening, viewers. I am Shudipa Chakraborty from the Department of Mechanical Engineering. I take this opportunity to invite all of you to yet another session, rather interactive session on engineering courses. On this note, I'd like to welcome today Professor Shankari Prasad Ghosh, Dean, School of Engineering and Technology. Welcome, sir. Professor Ghosh is an alumnus of IIT Kharagpur and worked for several years in various firms of sales and marketing. Later, he moved to USA in 1983 and completed degrees in computer science from the University of Pittsburgh, USA. And on the other hand, he also completed his degrees in information systems from the Central Michigan University. He worked for many years in information technology with various reputed companies like Electronic Data System, IBM, Sprint, and Ernst & Young, to name a few. And finally, he taught at the Central Michigan University for over 4 years. So I look forward to his expert opinion on the theme of today's session. Our next panelist for today's evening is Mr. Pradip Bhowmick, Director, School of Engineering and Technology. With more than 23 years of experience in consulting and program implementation, Mr. Bhowmick has personally led pursuits and technology transformational engagements with various companies like PwC, KPMG, and he has been responsible for developing of technology delivery units across the globe in countries like SAARC, Caribbean, and Middle East. So with this, we would look forward towards this session to provide information to the engineering aspirants, and I welcome all my viewers to put forward your comments in the comment box so that we can answer them. Quoting the great scientist Albert Einstein, "Scientists investigate that which already is, but the engineers develop that which never has been." So well, Professor Ghosh, with this, my first question to you is what makes the student take engineering as a career opportunity?
Well, let me take a step back. When we were growing up, parents used to dictate what you go to study. You have to understand, as somebody coming out of high school, 17, 18 years of age, hardly understands anything about engineering, leave alone different branches of engineering.
Exactly.
So basically, what parents think, what their advisors, well-wishers think, a course that will eventually get them good jobs in the world, that's what they do. And it has been proven over the years that engineering offers the best possible opportunities. So engineering has been a popular choice for most people. And when it comes to specific engineering, that's another
Exactly, sir. Here I'd like to ask you one more question, like how to choose the right discipline. This becomes very tough for the aspirants to go for the right discipline option. So how they must come to the conclusion that, okay, this mechanical engineering is suitable for me, or civil engineering I must take for further degree course, earning for the degree?
Well, this is another interesting question. Once again, I'll explain giving my own experience. I was interested in aviation. My parents wouldn't let me go, so I studied aeronautical engineering at IIT Kharagpur. I didn't know the difference between aeronautical engineering and aviation. But then I did go there and I studied it, finished the degree. Similarly, somebody who's a civil engineer advises his kids to go for civil engineering. Mechanical engineers advise them to go for mechanical engineers. But then in these days of internet, Google and all that, kids know a lot. And they do some Google search and eventually they make up their mind that this is what I want to do. And civil engineering, somebody is passionate about civil engineering, they go do that. So my advice would be to this young minds, follow your passion. That's where you'll be excelling. All engineers will basically engineering courses will basically teach you some common courses and then specialization. And you cannot go wrong there.
Exactly. It's very true. You must follow your passion. Well, with this, Bhowmick sir, you have been working with giant consulting firms like KPMG, PwC. So while choosing this engineering discipline, we have came across various questions on the core sector, like is it really relevant that the core engineering courses have taken a backseat, or is there any silver lining for them?
So I think that's a very interesting question, Sudeepa. You know, working with the consultancy firms, what we have seen is that for most of our projects, we needed multiple different skills for most of our projects. Two of the very key skills that we needed, one was people with the mindset of a consultant, someone who can take a problem, apply their mind to it, create multiple solutions to the problem, and then come to the conclusion that what really works well in that situation, right? Somebody who can think, what we in today's world we refer to as a design thinking problem, or something like that, right? So somebody who has that mind. So that's one skill set, and that skill set essentially is an added skill set based on a core skill, right? Core education. So I could be an engineer by background, like I could be a computer science engineer, I can be a mechanical engineer, I can be a civil engineer. When I have that next added layer of understanding of how to address a problem, solve it, create solutions to it, and make the solution work, that's one kind of skill that really gets important. The second type is what we've also observed is that in consultancy there are management consultancy disciplines when we need to solve a problem which are management problems. You also need skills in terms of technical consultancy skills. So for example, if you look at today in consultancy very specifically, an infra project going on, big infrastructure project going on, you need management consultants as well as technical consultants. Somebody having a deep knowledge about infrastructure, the different disciplines of parts of civil engineering as an example, will do really well in that as a technical consultant in that discipline. However, I must say that the specific understanding of being able to solve complex design issues, that specific skill is something that really is a topping on the skill set, core skill set that you have.
Okay, that's a very good answer from you, sir. Thank you for the answer. Next, sir, in today's generation, the companies, or rather the global world, is moving towards the synergistic integration of various trades or disciplines. So, sir, any comment regarding this integration that is taking place, and that is taking place too rapidly? I must say that. Like a computer science engineer must not learn only the computer programming skill or the language development softwares. So even a mechanical engineer is working in developing prosthetics. Electrical engineerings are writing codes for CSA engineers. So how does this Adamas University curriculum fits into that?
So again, a very interesting question, Sudeepa.
And it fits like a glove, our course structure.
Right. So
okay, that's great.
So you look at Adamas University. We have, as you know, we have these 10 schools inside the university, right? So we have the School of Engineering and Technology, we have the School of Management, we have the School of Law, we have the School of Science, and so on and so forth. The beauty of having this in one integrated campus is that somebody who's studying computer science and engineering as a core subject has the opportunity through our open electives program to create her own choice of learning, a learning pathway of his or her own. Let me give one example, which is something that that we're a particular learning pathway that we are currently working on, which is around say you must have heard about the whole thing around electric vehicles.
Exactly.
Which is
exactly hybrid vehicles.
Hybrid, not only hybrid, specifically electric vehicles.
Yeah,
we'll talk
sure.
about that. So a learning pathway which includes which focuses on electric vehicles would have multiple components supporting it.
Exactly.
You will have components from your own discipline, which is mechanical engineering.
For sure.
automotives coming into that. You will have disciplines of electrical engineering plugging into that. You will have disciplines of electronics and communications plugging into that.
Sure.
You know, and there is the aspects of navigation and all of that coming in where you know, artificial intelligence, your computer science, computing disciplines kind of supporting that.
Exactly.
So if you look at even one learning pathway like electric vehicles, which we are working towards, has all these different elements coming together. Beyond in the engineering disciplines, there are scope of study one can take, which is, for example, one can go for taking up a course in cyber law, together with the cyber security course that one takes from the computer science department, as an example, right? So the opportunity is huge. The opportunity is huge. The opportunity of interdisciplinary study is huge. What is happening today in this whole world, in all the different problems that we are trying to solve as engineers, there are numerous such opportunities and numerous such projects that we are right now bringing in from the industry, the projects our students are doing, all these different interdisciplinary kind of projects. So yes, so Adamas University is the right place to explore all these interdisciplinary opportunities that exist today in this world.
May I add a few words?
Sure, sir.
See, the industry wants a certain type of entrance.
Exactly.
And the colleges and universities, they produce certain types. There is always a gap between the two. But in industry, the latest and greatest technologies, they can incorporate, implement practically overnight. But in our scenario, we are not at liberty to do that overnight, because you have to follow certain guidelines, and it takes time to find faculty for that. But then how Pradip and I have sorted this out, rather our entire school has sorted it out. We have impaneled certain certain people from the industry. They will come and interact with the faculty as well as with the students. Portions of the curriculum will be taught by them, so that the gap can be narrowed down. It is always going to be there between what the industry wants and what we are producing, but we are trying to narrow the gap as much as possible, so that we can produce our students who are industry ready.
That is one of the most crucial point, because after completing B.Tech, most of the engineering aspirants are looking out for job. Even few of them, they are very much interested to prepare for government jobs and PSC examinations. Even people like 40% around people from the IAS, they are having engineering background. So sir, any comment regarding this, like how a student can prepare for this government examinations?
Go ahead.
So I think one of the most important agenda for any student, even when I was doing my own engineering, the big thing that was in my mind is that how do I get a job after doing this? And to even students today, many of them actually want to do that. There are many of them who goes into doing further studies, studying abroad. Some who goes into having their own venture. They're having their own startups. In Adamas University itself, we have had at least 3 groups of students in the last couple of years who have created their own venture. Very interesting ones, on the latest technologies. Some of them working on blockchain and such other very interesting technologies that they've created ventures on. Now, given that this is an expectation for everyone, we have created our the design of our course and structure, and how we have incorporated elements of this throughout the 4 years of our program is also very interesting. So what we have done, to start with, we have said that you want to do the next steps going from here. You either become an entrepreneur yourself, or you are going to go for a private job or going for a government job. You need to be ready to be there. First, and the biggest change that we have done with that is that we have introduced a course which we are calling EQ Labs. EQ is basically emotional quotient. So basically we are saying that we have put together a course, and we are trying to enhance the EQ of the students as they go through their regular course of studies. What we have done for that, we have made it a mandatory course. It's a part of the mandatory credit-based system that we have, in which across 5 semesters, we are covering elements of communication, elements of collaboration, elements of design thinking. We are covering elements of leadership, entrepreneurship, and all of these elements are something that are coming up from this aspect. Moving from there, so that gives the fundamental for a student, in order to preparing for the courses and preparing for the jobs that they want to do. Specifically looking at opportunities around government. So there are many opportunities in government.
Sure.
So if a student is interested in pursuing a career in government, one can, as Shankari was saying, that we can look at an opportunity to pursue an UPSC based IAS or IES,
IPS,
those kind of program. Or right, and or one can look at programs like going for the PSU jobs. So even as we speak now, there are a number of different large public sector units who are recruiting fresh engineers. So I was recently looking at some of these advertisements online, and they were looking for fresh engineers, coming from core sector, and they have very interesting profiles, so which they are looking for. So as you all know that RICE education comes with the background of 30 years of helping students qualify and do well in government recruitments. What we have done, as you see, the university provides the core program, the engineering curriculum, which the student pursues. In addition to that, studying in Adamas University, it gives them an opportunity to also leverage and build upon this experience that RICE education brings to the table in order to specially qualify for this government education. This is very unique, and something that you can rarely find in a in the setup that is available otherwise in other university setups. So with all this, we believe that sitting today, Adamas University is really well positioned to help all students, guide them through to their path to either to a private job or for a government job.
Okay, so with this, we have received a question from one of our viewer, Mr. Chandan Mitro from Kolkata. Sir, the question specifically has been asked to Mr. Pradip Bhowmick, Director, sir. As the present survey, it is said that the number of unemployed engineers have increased a lot, and these unemployable engineers are basically made of this, they are lacking communication skills and they are not industry ready basically. So what Chandan we were talking about is exactly like the curriculum that is mainly focused on this requirement of the industries, as already Professor Ghosh mentioned that. So sir, he wants to know like what initiative is Adamas taking to shape the future of engineers?
Okay, I think we basically just covered that while the question was coming in.
Chandan, the Pradip has already taken care of that. That EQ thing that he was mentioning is basically where we groom the students. Pradip is going to explain it in further details, because as we all know, when it comes to an engineer, he or she is the product, he or she is the salesperson. So if they cannot communicate well, they cannot sell themselves.
Exactly.
They cannot sell themselves. So that's what in 5 semesters they will be groomed properly. Pradip, if you want to take it.
Yeah, sure. So I touched upon this aspect that across 5 semesters we are covering the aspects of communication, collaboration, design thinking, which includes innovation and creative skills development, plus leadership aspects. So this is what we are covering in these 5 semesters. You see, this is a slight departure from what you would usually see in many universities, which is basically these are the soft skills. Typically the people call it soft skills, which I personally believe that it should be the other way around. This is probably the one of the core things that you need today to be really productive, to be really effective in the industry itself. So however, it's referred to as soft skills, these particular things. So you see, the general trend is that there will be crash courses organized of a short duration a group of external teachers would come who would take you through some aspects of group discussion, GD, PI, some aspects of communication, aptitude building, and so on and so forth, right? And then they will move on. So it's expected that in that short time this skill suddenly appears in a student. So and to your point, Chandan, is that this is where probably things have really not worked out well over a period of time. So what we have done is that, number one, I mentioned that we have made it mandatory.
Right.
It is a credit-based course. It is over 5 semesters. Why we have said it is over 5 semesters is because we need to be a high touch for a long period of time. Then is only that is where it is going to make its own impact.
Good.
So if I'm going to so take an example of our design of the second year course that's going to come up. The second year course, over the period of the second year course, entire duration, we are going to do similar things like, for example, we will take a problem like, one of the recent problems that's out there. We are going to take an example of, say, one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So there are 17 of them, right? So we will take one of them, we'll get this group of students sit together, huddle around, apply the principles that we are going to tell, we're going to take them through in terms of the methods to be used to address a problem like that. They will think about the problem, they will come up with solutions, they will come up and present the solutions. So, this is just one example, one module out of the whole course that runs across these 5 semesters. So, it is something that we have, we believe that we have tried to introduce something which is, as I said, high touch, long duration, which really has a lasting impact on the student itself over a period of time. So that is basically what we are doing to address this issue.
Sir, is there any CDC, that is Career Development Cell, over there in Adamas University, dedicated?
Yes, there is a dedicated career development cell that we have. In terms of career development programs, we start early, as in we are saying early enough from second year, third year onwards, we would be capturing the aspirations of individual students, whether they are interested to take a path of higher education, whether they're interested to do something in abroad, and if they want to do abroad, based on that we create we help them and advise them and guide them in terms of that. If they're looking for government jobs, I spoke about government jobs.
Exactly.
When supporting them, the students towards that. So we specifically customize our support according to that. And and what we're working on is also customizing our internship programs, industry visits, our guest lectures, our internship programs, according to the personal career development goal of an individual student. So this is a program that we are putting together, and this is something a student in Adamas will definitely benefit from going forward.
Surely, sir.
Picking up from where he finished, we have collaboration memorandum of understanding with about 30 odd universities across the globe, and I am personally negotiating with another one in United States. If students are interested in going abroad to pursue their higher studies, we do help them, and we have coordinators for each year, for each branch each year, and I have already trained our coordinators. Then coordinators in turn are training those students, or communicating with those students, whoever is interested. We cannot mention what kind of finances involved, because it varies from university to university, country to country. So it's going to be handled case by case basis.
Exactly, sir. So industry readiness amongst the student is one of the major concern of today's world, and Adamas University takes care of this very precisely. So with this, sir, we have another question from our viewer, Anurag Kumar, and he wants to know what is the placement percentage in CSE department and the highest package that has been offered.
Okay. So if we talking about placements, you see, Adamas engineering education has been there for more than 10 years now, right?
Exactly.
So through this through last 10 years, Adamas engineers are right now are working across very large organizations, all the top institutes I can think of, cutting across the IT recruiters to core recruiters. If you just talk about this particular batch that came out, I think the highest package was about 10 lakhs that came out, if I'm not mistaken. It's about 10 lakhs is the highest package that was given by one of the firms. And computer science, electronics, the percentage of placement is always is very high. I think it's almost about 80 to 90% as of now. 85% is what we are looking at, as of now, in terms of the placements as of now in com science and ECE.
Sir, in this regard, I would like to ask one more question. Like, since there is a trend of computer science engineering nowadays, so sir, will the core engineering branch will be fit for working as software development or software engineers in the near future, or are they fit for it?
This is a question for me.
Okay, that's great.
This is a question for me in the sense, some people are saying that, well, everybody works for IT companies like Infosys, TCS, Wipro. True. Since the beginning of early 90s and up until pretty recently, they were hiring like crazy. They were hiring everybody with a bachelor's degree. And then, of course, they would take them inside their campus, and they have fantastic training program. They would make them go through that. But my advice to the aspirants is, if you do computer science, you only qualify for that kind of jobs. If you do other engineering, in Adamas, while doing engineering, we do give you some computer science courses as well. Every engineer going out of Adamas knows how to program, how to talk to a database, how to retrieve data from a database, create a project, and of course present a project to his or her peers as well as teachers. So he's more than ready to face the interview of those IT companies. And now this computer science, civil, mechanical, electrical, they all appear for the interview and they get hired. And after that, it's confluence. Everybody does the same thing after they get trained. But should, God forbid, should something were to go wrong in the IT, you still have your basic degree which you can use in the core sector. And remember one thing, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's slogan, big slogan, which he means and which I believe he means, is Make in India. Make in India is a big thing, and you have to remember one thing, he is investing huge amount of money in our infrastructure. For instance, let me give you the example of, they are trying to connect the rivers in the country. It's a fantastic project, because while Assam is flooding, down south people are undergoing drought. So if the rivers are connected, you get the benefit. And connecting the rivers, just imagine the number of people, number of engineers that they'll be needing. Name a branch, civil, mechanical, electrical, electronics, computer science, everybody will be hired. And then the roads, highways in the country. We have quite a few highways, but there are going to be more. Better the infrastructure, more the opportunities for other industries to come in. Moment the industries come in, hiring will go up. This is job creation. And please believe me, get yourself ready, and opportunities are just round the corner. Okay?
Okay, so that was really great from Professor Ghosh. Sir, with this, I'd like to focus on a point that you recently mentioned, that we are having collaboration with foreign universities. So, I guess it is about more than 35 universities we are collaborating with as of today, and more are upcoming. So, sir, what is the scope for a student being an Adamas University graduate to go out and explore the studies his or her degree in outer, outside India?
Well, Shrudipa, I think I briefly touched upon that while answering somebody who had asked a question, but then I'll go over it again. It depends entirely upon the student. If the student is willing to pursue his or her higher studies abroad, we can help. We have the memorandum of understanding. Now we can use it to send somebody only if the student student wants it. And we cannot ask anybody to go. And moreover, if this Make in India thing comes true, people will not need to go abroad. People have enough opportunities out here. But then if somebody wants to pursue higher studies, feel free. And students, my door is always open. Students can come into my office. I personally advise. Plus our coordinators are really dynamic coordinators. They also constantly advise the students. Plus I live in the campus. You want to talk to me at 7 o'clock, you can come to my place. Or you can call me. I'll come to the office and I'll talk. Anytime, I live in the campus.
Okay, that was great enough. And sir, with this, I'd like to ask one more question, that apart from this regular scheduled classes and the curriculum and this industry readiness, few of them obviously would like to have, take research as their option for higher education. So, sir, what in research, the main emphasis goes on this collaboration and consultation and coordination. So, how Adamas University is unique in this?
You need to look at our teachers pool. Most of these teachers are highly educated, dedicated, and most of them are involved in some research or the other. And they always involve their students. So students get a first-hand knowledge how to go about doing a research, how to do literature search, how to write a paragraph, how to identify a problem, and then teachers are always there to advise them. So research is a big thing at Adamas, and every teacher is involved in it, and students are also. And new students, please remember one thing: if you are interested, all you have to do is, I want to be included, and you are included, because our mentorship program, moment you enter Adamas, those 10-15 students are assigned a professor, assigned a teacher. This teacher is their mentor, and you can tell the teacher anything you want to discuss, and from there the teacher can take it. The teacher can go to his or her boss, and all of us are there just to help you, so that you become a fantastic engineer, fantastic Adamas graduate, and because you are our brand ambassador.
Exactly. That's very true. Sir, would you like to comment on the infrastructure, that is the lab facilities that we are providing currently?
I've been talking for a long time now. Pradip, you tell them about. We have really good labs. I asked him to say, then I took it out. That's me. We have really cutting edge labs. So mechanical engineering, electronic engineering, computer science, everybody has number of labs, and each lab is very, very well equipped. If you want to do a project, the lab is there. If you need any machine, if you need any software, all you have to do is ask. We may not get it tomorrow, but we'll get it. So labs are very well equipped.
I'll just add one point
Yes,
to that, which
Sure.
is, on top of the labs that we have by department, right? So there are, I think, close to 70 odd labs that we have.
Yeah, exactly.
So on top of the labs which are there by department, there are clubs which cut across departments. So one example is we have a robotics club, right? Robotics and artificial intelligence club.
Very
So-
vibrant.
Right. So in which you will find students participating from the ECE department, from mechanical department, from computer science department. They all come together and they are working on very interesting projects. So in that particular lab or the club has a lab of its own,
Yeah.
in which they are working on creating different kinds of robots that has different purposes. They are even competing in number of different international, national competitions.
Exactly.
They have won number of awards, and I have seen the students working there. They really enjoy being together, and all the students with who are basically studying different things on their day job, coming together in
Exactly.
this particular lab, after work, creating new things which they really enjoy. So not just the labs within the departments. There are a number of, like, entrepreneurship club. We have this artificial intelligence club, and we also have a few other such interdisciplinary clubs where people can come together.
So basically the thing is like that the engineer should be critical as well as creative, and this clubs provides you an opportunity to show your creativity at its best. Sir, with this I move on to Pradip sir for the next question. Sir, what is your comments on developing entrepreneurial skills within the students? Because today's motto is you should be a job creator rather than a job seeker.
Okay.
So how can we develop?
Okay, that's a fantastic question. Actually, as we speak, there are many students who are, as I mentioned before, that there are many students of Adamas University who have pursued their own dreams. Within our, as part of our course curriculum, we are at the side of it. We are supporting them, supporting our students with through the entrepreneurship club, for example, right? So we bring in a number of entrepreneurs as guest lecturers. They spend time with the students. We have classes where we are teaching aspects of entrepreneurship, like business, finance, marketing, different aspects of how to go about setting up your own specific initiative. Own startup. We are doing that. On top of that, we will be organizing very soon a platform which the Adamas students from Adamas University, as well as it will be open for others, where they can come together to seek for investments and seed funds from for their own ventures. So we are trying to create a platform and environment of that sort for our students.
Okay, so that's a quite good idea, sir. I must mention this. And sir, with this, many of the students we found that they belong to the core departments like mechanical, civil, electrical, or they may be from software department, but their creativity is on some different side. Like they are good photographers. They want to have some ventures on photography. So, sir, are we in the position to support them also, apart from this technical skills?
Yes, so let me share a little experience. Shankari, you may also step in. So recently, I met a few students who wanted to pursue, who wants to pursue a slightly different career path than an usual engineer job career path. So they also have a different creative bent of mind, looking at things like movies and other such dimensions. So from with our initiative, we are also trying to, with the CDC's help and with our career development cell's help and the people that we know, we are trying to help them also to explore additional additional interest areas like this. So we are supporting them in those areas. However, creativity is something that we are developing as part of our own own career as well. So as I mentioned, so addressing design problems, addressing trying to help students become more creative in how they respond to a particular problem. These are being done as part of the course curriculum itself. But if a specific student has an interest in a very different area, then we support us. Or the faculty, we are here to support every student with their unique set of needs. So it's very personalized for us.
Actually, it happened. I normally talk to the people who are passing out from our university. I bring them to my office in small groups and interact with them. And Pradip is always with me, because we need to know what they're going out with, what kind of feelings they're going out with. And they said, when I asked, so where have you found your jobs? They said, we don't want jobs, we are entrepreneurs. And that's when Pradip took over. And we had a fantastic session that day.
Okay. So not only providing a B.Tech degree, we are, boosting the entrepreneurial skills amongst the students, and that need not to be specific to your department. And as already mentioned by Pradip sir, that you can opt for open electives across all the schools within Adamas University. We have School of Biotechnology, School of Life Sciences, School of Liberal Arts, School of Economics and Commerce, and so on, even Mass Comm and Journalism also. So with this, sir, I'd like to ask you regarding the life of a student at Adamas during his tenure of graduation, like how you can assure that the student is taken care of, because engineering is the first step when a parent is sending their child out of their own house.
We'll talk about PTMs and talk about the PTMs that we have.
No, parents teachers meetings we do have, but then see, I live very close to the hostels, both girls hostels and boys hostels, and they know, I keep going back and forth, they know that this man is here within the campus. And otherwise, their life is quite busy from 9:30 to 5:30 because they have classes to attend, labs to perform, and beyond that, they do have time to go have a cup of coffee. We have the coffee corner within the campus, and of course, they can pursue any other interest that they have, as long as those are legal.
So how the parents can be a part of this growth chain?
No, I'm requesting all the parents that we are trying to do our best, but we need dynamic help from you all. It's your kid. It's my kid too, but it's first your kid. So you have to keep an eye as well. And just come, ask, how is your kid doing? And what can we do better to make sure that he or she does better in life?
Exactly.
We are doing something all right, but maybe we are missing out on something. So please come and advise us. Your kid, the lives and careers of your kids are at stake. So please, please, please do come and talk to us.
So one must ensure a holistic development throughout this 4 years of B.Tech degree. Sir, what else is there within this campus? Like, is there any extracurricular activities or sports that can be offered
Oh, he can
for the residential students specifically?
For the
residential students, because they'll be staying back over
right.
there. Over here.
So we have a more than 100-acre campus, lush green campus, and we have the opportunities for the students can pick up the opportunity to participate in different kinds of sports. So we have all the different courts. We have the sports facilities around.
Sports complex.
Sports for the complexes and the football, cricket, and volleyball and basketball, and all these courts are there. This is the huge campus with all these facilities around here. So yes, absolutely. So sports is sports and different sports and participation in that is a very integral part of our whole program. So it might be an interesting thing to share is that all this effort that we have put together on sports has led to creation of our own supported football initiative. So which will be there participating in the leagues in terms of football. So this is very core to the Adamas way of life.
Sports I guess one is already participating in the Zee Bangla Premier League this year.
So that's a team supported by Adamas.
Okay.
But there is the sports team that's going to participate in the football league as well. Yeah.
If you come to the campus in the evening, you will see students playing basketball, students playing soccer. If you just walk around, you'll see it happening. So come see us in our campus.
So with this, like whatever views that has been shared by Professor Ghosh and Mr. Bhowmick, we are making the students ready to handle the constantly changing demands of the outside world. And last but not the least, I would like to ask Professor Ghosh to comment on the engineering education as a whole, sir.
Well, after spending decades overseas, I came back. I didn't have to go work anywhere else. But then I had, this is strictly personal, I had developed so much of respect for our Chancellor, Professor Samit Ray. I knew him, I personally did not know him. I knew of his achievement. I knew of the rice brand name. We couldn't do, he did it. He has taken this from ground up all the way to this level. And I was thinking, is there any way I could go help him a little bit? That's what I kept thinking. And then I approached and, well, I was asked to come in and start helping. So that's what I think. And then I do understand, I do realize that there are things that are not right with engineering education. It's all over the world. But then there are ways you can sort it out. Civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, they're not going to go away. They may be seeing some downturn right now, but things are going to change. And it depends upon us how we modify our courses. For instance, recently we had our BOS, which is Board of Studies, on 21st of June. We create our course structures, and then of course we change, modify our syllabus. Then we invite stalwarts from academia as well as industry. They come and they invite. So we invite them, they come and advise us. And we take their advice, modify our stuff, and that is something that we're going to go forward with. But then, as Pradip has suggested, open electives, with all those, you become a much, much better students. Our DNA out there is going to stand out, and people will eventually know that this engineer is from Adamas. With this, I guess, any other question, ma'am?
No, sir, nothing. As of today, we are running out of time. So it is the time that we conclude our session with an interesting note from Professor Ghosh that we are looking after each and every aspect to develop engineers, not only to make them marketable, as well as if they want to pursue research and higher education, Adamas is always there to support you out.
One last thing, we are building the future one student at a time.
Exactly.
We are building the future one student at a time.
Thank you very much for listening. You can still write your comments in the comment box. Our representative will surely get you back soon. Thank you. Have a good day.